Been practicing that for ages. Homage watches. Watches that are blatant copies of other well-known watch designs or very, very similar to those. Some collectors love them, others, the purists, hate them. I fall somewhere in the middle. I think they can form a very valuable place in any collection or in a collector's journey, and I'm going to give you 3 specific reasons why. Stay to the end for the best reason. Hello and welcome to The Perfect Wrist. This is your opportunity to come along, spectate on a watch collecting journey without having to spend a penny of your own money. You can observe all the mistakes I've made, some of the surprising successes along the way, in the overall pursuit of finding that perfect wrist presence. Well, the first reason you would consider a homage watch is the price. In this comparison, we're going to compare the Blancpain 50 Fathoms with this Spinnaker Fleuss. Now, the Blancpain 50 Fathoms is a classic heritage dive watch from 1953. That is the top of the tree with dive watches, but it retails for an eye-watering £18,000, as I've just found out, to my surprise, on the website. Oh, by the way, can you just, if you like these videos, can you just subscribe and like and share the videos? It takes a few seconds, costs nothing, but it does help the channel. Thanks. The dimensions of the Blancpain 50 Fathoms: 42.5mm case size, 14.3mm depth, thickness, and 300 meters water resistance. And obviously that watch comes with sapphire crystal and high precision movement with history and utter heritage. However, you can get very similar wrist presence, I would suggest, from this Spinnaker Fleuss. It's an obvious homage to the Blancpain 50 Fathoms, but it does have its own style, and it comes in a range of colours. This is the oxblood version. There are others. There's black dial, blue dial, and the Fleuss has been a long-term offering from Spinnaker. This is 43mm case width by only 13mm thick, and this is a watch you can be proud to own in its own right, with a nice coin edge bezel, fine brushing to the case sides, a polished chamfer at the top of the lugs, beautiful brushing, fine brushing to the lugs themselves, a signed crown, Spinnaker, screw down crown, and these watches retail for between £200 and £300. You often can find them on a deal from Spinnaker. Whereas the Blancpain is over 14mm thick, this is 13mm thick, so it's going to hug the wrist a little bit closer. It's got a display case back. It has a Seiko movement in the back. Rugged, reliable, timekeeping can be excellent if these are regulated properly, and they last for years. Sapphire crystal. It only has 150 meters of water resistance, whereas the Blancpain has 300 meters. Does that matter for most people? You know, for a larger watch, that Fleuss does hug the wrist very well, and it's down to the case shape, the slightly curved down of the lugs at the end, and it's relatively slim sizing for a big dive watch. So the second reason is that a watch can actually be a very good watch in its own right. This is the most homage of all the homages we're going to look at today, because it's a blatant copy of the Captain Willard. The Captain Willard, as it's known, refers to the 6105 reference of the classic Seiko dive watch in 1968 that was worn by Martin Sheen in the film Apocalypse Now, hence Captain Willard. Seiko have made a few reissues of this watch over the last few years under their Prospects line of watches, with prices ranging from well over £1,000 to almost £3,000, depending on the specific model. Both these models come in at 44mm wide with 13mm case size of thickness, 200m of water resistance. It's the Steeldive SD 1970, but it's an excellent watch in its own right. This watch only cost £66 in the AliExpress sale, delivered to the UK, including shipping and taxes. It's got a Seiko movement, so it's rugged and reliable. It has sapphire crystal. It's got exceptional lume, as we'll show you. It has a 200m water resistance. The original Willard had 150 meters. The modern reinterpretations are also 200 meters. And it's 43mm case diameter, as opposed to 44 on the modern reinterpretations of the Willard. It is a bit thicker. This comes in at just under 14mm thick, whereas the modern reinterpretations are around 13mm. Sapphire crystal, rugged movement, screw down crown, and this will wear very similarly to the original watches. As of the date of filming, there are the blue, the black, and a green version of this watch available. The original Willard was black. Oh, and I forgot to mention, a signed crown. A lot of thought gone into this. The lume on that Steeldive is just exceptional. And the final reason, perhaps the most important of all, for considering a homage watch is you can experience 90%, 95% of the wrist presence of that out-of-reach grail watch that you might have in your mind. The similarities in design are immediately obvious. The Rolex Explorer 1016 ran from 1963 to 1989, and it's probably what you would call the classic Explorer. And I would say that this little watch looks exactly the same. It hasn't got the same movement. It has its own. It has a Swiss movement, this particular watch. A lot of the homages have Japanese Seiko movements. You can see from this glance at Chrono 24, other watch sellers are available. The price now of these vintage Rolex Explorer 1016s, they recommend a price range between £8,900 to £29,000, but you can see that most of these are in the teens. This little Explorer watch, this is one example of something that looks very similar. It's exactly the same case size, 36mm. This is actually from the same time period. This was early 70s, I believe, this watch. This is the Services Watch Company. There are others available. San Martin. There are endless Rolex Explorer homages available. Some of the micro brands, if you look on eBay, you can find them all over the place. But this was its own thing, the Services Watch. And this actually was over £200, so one of the more expensive homages, I would say. And the point is, with something like this, you can get the same wrist presence, you can get the same idea as to how one of these sought after watches would feel on the wrist, the look and feel on the wrist. Even if you're actually considering one of the originals, it gives you the perfect idea of whether you're going to actually enjoy wearing it, especially if you're going to drop that sort of money on a watch. So I hope you've enjoyed this. 3 very valid reasons as to why homage watches are well worth a look. Don't forget that on my channel now I have playlists grouped together, videos grouped together on various topics. There's Seikos, there's a Seiko binge list, there's a watch collecting list generally about aspects of watch collecting. So go along, have a look, and you can binge to your heart's content.